Okay, so we're going to do a video here talking about TNA wrestling. Some of you,
TNA
please
what?
don't click away.
TNA what?
Please don't click away. Please, there's lots of other time in your day to watch something else. We're going to talk about TNA right now. We just want you to hear us out.
You said a word after TNA, though. I didn't. TNA.
Oh, you know what? I'll allow you to elaborate on why you're critical of the word I chose there, starting with a W, ending with wrestling. First off, the ECW originals arriving in TNA. I want your thoughts on what you think Paul Heyman would do for the company if he was brought in, and if you think it would help this angle get over, and do the fans even care?
Paul Heyman, if Paul Heyman were brought into the company right now, he would kill the ECW invasion. That's my opinion. I think he would. I think that, Paul Heyman, like most of us, has moved on from ECW.
Well,
it was 15 years ago? 15 years ago, that company was in its prime.
Yeah.
Okay? We had One Night Stand. We even had One Night Stand 2, which was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you've got... I don't understand why we need this influx of...
I'm going to throw out a theory.
Okay,
and I'll let you run with it. Wrestling fans were so dissatisfied with the way that the WWF ran the invasion angle with WCW and ECW that I feel a lot of wrestling fans have been starved for a good invasion angle. And the only good one I've ever seen is when ROH took on CZW. That was a fantastic angle, and the people who saw those DVDs were at those shows can tell you firsthand that was amazing wrestling, amazing storytelling. But I think the mainstream wrestling fan has been starved for an invasion angle that works. And a lot of people feel that there was some sort of injustice, a miscarriage of injustice, with the ECW invasion when it was done the second time around leading up to the original One Night Stand. So I think that's where this is coming from as a source. That's what they're drawing from.
I can see that. But the reason that the ROH CZW invasion angle worked was because you had two companies that you knew who they were if you followed the independent scene. Mm-hmm. They're both fledgling young companies with young, talented, agile guys doing innovative things. You can't keep bringing ECW back because these guys are just old. They're another 5 years older. They're another 10 years older. What exactly is Tommy Dreamer going to do in the ring?
Well, and when we were discussing this before we started shooting, I didn't know Rhino still worked for TNA, to be honest.
Rhino is such a weird dichotomy in that company because it's like sometimes they love him to the moon and sometimes they hate him.
They loved him so much to make him a champion on a whim.
Yeah, Bound for Glory, the culmination of him winning 3 matches in one night.
But at the same token, he winds up missing shows for months at a time, and nobody really knows why. And, they're doing this ECW Originals thing, and they can't call it that, obviously, but they're doing it minus Paul Heyman on screen, which, for a lot of people, Paul Heyman is ECW. So if you don't have Paul
Heyman is ECW.
So if you don't have Paul Heyman on camera representing that faction, then you're really not. You're wasting our time.
Well, it's a waste of time anyway. Even if you had Heyman there, that's why I don't think Paul Heyman would even go for the invasion angle, because I think he recognizes as somebody who knows the wrestling business, as a booker, I think he recognizes that this is just another ploy by TNA, another in a series of attempts by Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff to attempt to get ratings without having to come up with anything original.
I totally agree with that. And I think with ECW, Paul Heyman was smart enough to know that Eastern Championship Wrestling had to become Extreme Championship Wrestling. And he was smart enough to get it from point A to point B and in a way that got attention. And at the same token, he was still evolving that company to its last dollar. When they hit cable, he was still trying to innovate the product, the television presentation of the product, and to change people's thinking when it came to professional wrestling on television. Heyman is not going to come into a situation and go with old hat. He's not. That's never been him. He's never been old hat. He's always been how can we change this? How can we offer something new?
And why do you
not
think,
doing anything new?
Why do you think that ECW One Night Stand 2 did so much better than One Night Stand 1? It's because One Night Stand 2, the first One Night Stand was all the ECW guys wrestling each other just like old times.
Mm-hmm.
One Night Stand 2 was the ECW guys on one side wrestling a bunch of other guys.
Yes, and it played a lot off of the fact that the fans had a lot of animosity towards Raw and SmackDown and a lot of support for bringing ECW back.
Oh yeah,
did
anyone remember the "If Cena wins, we riot" signs or whatever?
Well,
you know,
the promo that Heyman cut,
yeah,
slamming JBL up in the rafters and slamming Triple H, and not even discussing where that went from that point on. That was exactly what I think Heyman wanted to do with the product,
and it was a great last little thing for ECW. But I don't think Paul Heyman, even if he was somehow persuaded to come into TNA, which I love the fact that he told them they could only have that if he was running things, they could only have one legend.
Well, that's going to be a problem because like 30% of their roster is washed up legends.
But the ECW invasion is not going to work for them. It's not going to work. Just like the revamping ECW is not going to do anything more than revamping WCW has done for them so far.
I don't think that telling the wrestling fans, "Hey, we're going to do this ECW invasion right. We're going to do their last stand right. We're going to do it the way that the WWE should have done it." I don't think that's going to work because TNA does not develop storylines the way they need to. They don't push their product the way they need to. They don't compete with the WWE on the same level, yet they still tell you they do. And they're playing 2 or 3 steps behind. And they're not appealing to anybody. When we were going over the results from the last show together, it literally sounded like a late 90s WCW.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Mystery attacker in the women's division.
Yeah. Oh, because we can't confirm that this person was in fact a member of this faction, we're actually going to retcon the title change we had the other night, so you actually get the title back, and we need to take 20 minutes out of our show to explain to you why we're giving you the title back.
Yeah, let's take valuable time away from Jay Lethal and other wrestlers like that to spend time arguing over who a champion actually is in a division.
Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy go to a time limit draw.
On free TV.
Yes,
their
on free TV.
Their first ever meetings on free TV. And you got the best of 5 series, which, when done right, can be entertaining.
Between those two teams, I think people will live just because it's beer money and the machine guns. But still, best of 5 series is.
Well, the other problem TNA has with their tag division, and I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but their tag division is so stale. They're not cycling in new teams and new talent. They're using the same 3 or 4 teams and just having them face off with each other over and over. I mean, you can argue the same for the WWE, but they're on a different level. The WWE is allowed to do that because they are top dog. When you're TNA, you've got to do something different to differentiate yourself. And guess what? Having stale matches between the same opponents, guess what? Your opponent's already doing that, and they're beating you doing it.
Yep.
And ECW Invasion, they already did it. They beat you doing it. You're not going to beat them at their game. You're just not going to beat them at their game.
Devoting half of your television time to washed-up WCW stars, I think WWE's whole Bret Hart thing is just like, hey, we can do that too, and we can do it better than you. Haha.
The Bret Hart thing has had less action, less suspense than some of the TNA angles where they brought in some of those old stars. Yeah. But it's still been done better.
Yeah.
Who in their right mind is going to say that TNA getting Hulk Hogan was done better than WWE getting Bret Hart?
To wrap up, TNA, don't break up the beautiful people. They're your only real draw, and please stop showing Orlando Jordan shooting cream on himself.